John Bolton has been a fixture in American foreign policy for decades. His distinctive mustache is almost as well known as his hawkish stance on international affairs. He has served in multiple Republican administrations, culminating in his role as National Security Advisor to President Donald Trump. Bolton's tenure in the White House was turbulent and ended in a very public departure. Since leaving, he's become one of Trump's most vocal critics, using insider knowledge to question the president. This sets the stage for today's dramatic events. A war of words turned legal confrontation. This morning, the conflict escalated dramatically. The FBI executed search warrants on Bolton's home and his office, an extraordinary move against a former national security advisor. The action signals a serious federal investigation, putting Bolton in the legal crosshairs of the government he once served. The raid drags a political rivalry into criminal law, raising questions about separation of powers, classified information protections, and possible political motives. For many, this is a moment of reckoning. Bolton's career is built on unapologetic advocacy for a strong American role abroad. He's a conservative stalwart in Republican foreign policy circles. His appointment by Trump was meant to bring a seasoned, if controversial, hand to the White House. Iran, Afghanistan. That clash led to Bolton's departure and his scathing memoir, which ignited major controversy. The raid isn't Bolton's first legal headache. His 2020 book, The Room Where It Happened, provoked the administration and DOJ attempts to block publication. Officials argued it contained unauthorized classified information. Though the book was published, those disputes set the stage for today's national security-focused investigation. The key question: has new evidence emerged, or is this a politically timed reopening? This morning, the conflict escalated dramatically. The day began for John Bolton with a jarring and forceful intrusion. At approximately 7 a.m. Eastern Time, federal agents descended on his quiet suburban home in Bethesda, Maryland. Eyewitnesses say the FBI's entry was anything but subtle. Agents reportedly breached the front door to gain access. Agents secured the premises and began a search under a sealed warrant. Federal law enforcement surrounding the home created a striking image across morning news. Inside, a woman believed to be Bolton's wife was confronted by agents. Bolton was not present. He arrived later to a scene of controlled chaos. Bolton told CNN he was not aware of the FBI activity and was looking into it. His late arrival underscored the surreal, rapidly deteriorating situation. A simultaneous raid was reportedly conducted at his office. The probe is a national security investigation into possible mishandling of classified records. A judge-signed search warrant authorized agents to seek documents materials believed to be classified. These investigations are among the most sensitive the DOJ handles. Investigators chose a warrant over a subpoena because they feared the materials might be moved, destroyed, or concealed. The operation was reportedly ordered by FBI Director Kash Patel. Minutes after the raid began, Patel posted on X, "No one is above the law, FBI agents on mission." The public statement made during an active operation added political theater. It framed the raid as a leadership declaration, underlining the investigation's gravity. At the heart of this renewed investigation is a familiar subject: John Bolton's 2020 memoir, The Room Where It Happened. At the heart of this renewed investigation is a familiar subject: John Bolton's 2020 memoir, The Room Where It Happened. This book detailed his 17 months as President Trump's national security advisor. It was highly critical of the president's foreign policy conduct. The Justice Department under the first Trump administration fought vigorously to stop its release. They argued Bolton had deliberately circumvented the pre-publication review process for former officials with access to classified material. The government insisted the manuscript was rife with state secrets. They warned publication would cause irreparable harm to national security. Bolton and his publisher disputed these claims, creating a high-stakes legal battle. A federal judge denied the administration's request to block the book, allowing publication. But the judge also rebuked Bolton, saying publishing without final clearance raised national security concerns, and that he had gambled with the nation's security. That rebuke left the door open for future consequences, even as the book became a bestseller. The Justice Department continued a criminal investigation, though it was later dropped by the Biden administration along with the civil lawsuit. The raid today suggests that investigation has been resurrected. The core allegation: Bolton failed to complete the NSC's meticulous vetting process. That process is designed to scrub manuscripts of classified information before release. Bolton says he worked extensively with the NSC's classification expert. He claims the expert cleared the book before other White House officials intervened for political reasons. The Trump administration countered the process was incomplete, and that political appointees had identified numerous, still classified passages, creating a contentious he said, she said scenario. That past conflict now feeds today's controversy. The reactions to today's raid have been, swift, sharp, and honestly deeply divided, reflecting the polarized political landscape. President Trump, when questioned by the press, did not hold back his disdain for his former advisor. Visual, split screen. President Trump at a podium on left, FBI Director Kash Patel photo on right, though he claimed to have no prior knowledge of the raid itself. "No, I don't know about it. I saw it on television this morning," Trump stated. He then launched into a personal attack, a familiar tactic for the president. "I'm not a fan of John Bolton. He's a real lowlife, not a smart guy, could be a very unpatriotic guy. We're going to find out." This combination of professed ignorance and personal vitriol does little to quell speculation about political motivations. From within the administration's national security apparatus, the justification for the raid is being framed in starkly legal terms. The intelligence that reportedly formed the basis of the search warrant came from CIA Director John Ratcliffe, who provided it to FBI Director Kash Patel. This sourcing from the highest levels is meant to portray the investigation as a serious, evidence-based national security matter. Director Patel's public post on X, stating "no one is above the law," reinforces this official narrative. The message from the government is clear. This is about protecting state secrets and upholding the law, regardless of the target's political profile or past service. However, sources close to John Bolton are telling a very different story. They see the raid not as a legitimate legal procedure, but as a blatant act of political retaliation. It's retribution, pure and simple. One source close to Bolton told NBC News, "This perspective posits that the investigation is a direct response to Bolton's relentless criticism of President Trump, his book, his frequent media appearances. According to this view, the raid is designed to intimidate, harass, and silence a prominent political opponent under the guise of national security." They argue that if the government had a real case, it could have been pursued through less dramatic means, like a subpoena. The stark contrast between these viewpoints highlights the central conflict at play. On one side, you have the official government line, which speaks of classified intelligence, court-authorized warrants, and the impartial application of the law. This is the narrative of process and necessity. On the other side, you have the voice of the accused's camp, which describes a vindictive abuse of power, where the vast resources of the state are being weaponized to settle a political score. As the investigation unfolds, every action taken by the Justice Department will be scrutinized through these two competing lenses, making it pretty difficult to discern where the legal process ends and political payback begins. The raid on John Bolton's home forces a critical question upon the American public: is this a legitimate pursuit of justice or a politically motivated act of revenge? Those who support the investigation point to the inherent seriousness of mishandling classified information. A former national security advisor should understand the protocols and the potential damage from unauthorized disclosures. What specific new evidence prompted the CIA and FBI to act now? The answers will decide Bolton's fate and test the resilience of American democratic norms, and whether law stands above politics.